The problem with our jobs is they have fixed hours and a set location.
Another way we intend to maximize our free time is to purge ourselves of any unnecessary responsibilities. One of the biggest ones happens to be our house. Trying to abide by a schedule is the very thing we're trying to break free from.
We definitely are going to need something mobile. Now, although our main purpose to doing this is to find more time for friends and family, occasionally we are going to want to go off and explore and go to different places that doesn't have family and
kind of go on our own adventures.
Yeah. So at this point, we've decided a 30-foot or less travel trailer. Moving on to the next section of this section. So we've talked a lot about maybe a home base. Now, the only reason I'm really making this its own section and giving it the ability to be talked about is we do have that property we just purchased. That's not going anywhere, it's ours. So one way or another, in our own way, we have a home base.
It's secure, it's paid off.
It's secure, it's paid off, it's ours, and we are keeping it for a reason, and we'll talk more about that at the end of the video. But for right now, that is a potential home base slash might as kind of well be. The next thing we've talked about is potentially, maybe, being able to keep this house and being able to come home here. But with that, you have to take care of the lawn, you have to take care of the house, you still have to pay the mortgage, the bills, like all of the usual stuff that you have to do with the house, which is some of the stuff that we've already talked about needing to purge ourselves of the responsibilities of.
To give ourselves more time and less headache.
Yeah, is honestly just, I don't really see that being a feasible option. Now we could have it rented out, and then you would have somebody paying for the bills and taking care of the lawn and stuff.
And dealing with a lot of the upkeep.
Yeah, but the problem with that is we don't necessarily know how we're going to get it when each tenant leaves. They could destroy the place.
There's nothing you can really do about it.
Yeah.
You're still in a situation where you have to fix it, which can cost money. And not even be worth it at the end of the day. And that's assuming that you have a tenant who only destroys it and didn't not pay, and that's why you kicked them out.
Yeah.
And that leads to whole other issues. And it's just, it's honestly, it makes us scared to kind of go that route.
Yeah, and aside from that, you're still going to have to pay the mortgage and take care of the lawn when you don't have a tenant. So there's still going to be, to some extent, that kind of thing that has to happen.
And that leads us kind of into selling the house and why we've looked into that. But even that has its own downsides.
It does. I love this house, but it's... We'll get more to that in a minute. So the other thing we've talked about is just putting a tiny house on the new property, which also kind of coincides with or just putting the camper on, and we're apparently being visited by a bee.
He kind of went around me for a little bit, so...
Yeah. All right. So would you like to present? Would you? So as I was saying before we were rudely interrupted...
Mr. B.
Mr. B. We have considered putting a tiny house on the new property and residing there. It does feel a little silly, and to some extent, because we'll have the RV, camper, travel trailer, whatever you want to call it.
And the small house.
Yeah, which probably are going to be pretty similar inside. So it feels a little silly, but it is something that we have thought about. So that's basically everything for what we could possibly do for a home base and how we're going to live on the road.
Yeah.
How are we going to make an income to support our new lifestyle?
So as a quick disclaimer, it's no real secret at this point that you can make money with social media, but that's not really our intentions with this.
No. A lot of our intention when we first made this was to document our path into hopefully what is success.
Our future and our life.
And to be able to share it with our friends and family. Obviously, especially me, I live a very long way from my main family and friends, and it would be nice just to show them what's going on. Especially when we start actually road tripping and we go to places that nobody else is, we can be like, hey, look at this cool thing, you know, look at this place, you know, will probably be a lot of beautiful places, and I would love to be able to share that experience.
And our friends and our families, and even the viewers like you, can live vicariously with our adventures through us in these videos.
Yeah, and aside from that, if we do succeed and our plan goes accordingly, we have basically a how-to.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a straight roadmap of everything we did, because we're doing this before we've ever done anything to really work that way. And
besides conversation about it.
Yeah, and that's, I'm sure, where a lot of people are at right now with they're looking for a roadmap, is they've already had the conversations we've had.
Because I want to share this with people, and I want, if somebody wants to do something like this, do it. Like, be
aware, it is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, and it's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of things we are sacrificing by trying to do this. So obviously, we're not relying on that for any source of income.
Success is not guaranteed.
Success is not guaranteed in that realm. But what we are trying to do to gain some form of income, and this is where we started drum roll, because this is what we're doing with the new property. Excitement, yay! We plan to start our own business. And it's going to be, hopefully, an all-natural candle company. Where obviously we'll sell candles.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of our plan for our financial independence, is to make a product that we believe in with quality ingredients and that we're comfortable putting our name on and selling. Mm-hmm. And hopefully that will gain a following, and it'll actually give us the ability we need financially to support this lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. And this property is going to be where we make them and where we store them. And hopefully I will be allowed to put a second property, since our two main areas we're going to probably be staying a lot of the time are New York and Kentucky. Hopefully I'll be able to put another storage and
warehouse kind of building
up there, so that way we can try and make sure that there's always stock available. That way we don't run out of stock.
So we can always work on it no matter where we're at, well, as far as our main areas of like travel.
Correct.
So yeah, it gives us a chance to be able to work whenever we're there if we need to, and maybe spend time with family doing what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. So now that that's out of the way,
the cat's out of the bag.
The cat's out of the bag. So the other thing that but mostly I have considered doing is maybe getting into some travel photography. Obviously we'll be on the road, and it's going to be a great opportunity. And this wonderful boyfriend of mine for Christmas bought me the camera, well, the one camera. Would you like to present? You are more than welcome to present today. But the camera that Bam bought me, he knew I wanted to get maybe into some photography.
And a lot of videography.
A lot of videography, because I've always been very passionate about YouTube. Future video, by the way, at some point. I've always been passionate about doing YouTube videos. So this camera is wonderful, because it's going to double for not only being able to do photography, but also continue doing the YouTube videos that I enjoy doing. Now, this isn't set in stone, and if we do it, it'll be something that I learn more about probably after we're on the road.
Have a little more time to research it.
Yeah, because
there's a lot to learn.
There's a lot to learn, and I haven't really done much photography. I mean, I've taken pretty pictures on my cell phone like everybody does, but I also have new software and stuff that probably is going to have to be learned with that. Another thing that we're going to be doing to assist with income, because obviously we're not going to just be a millionaires right off the bat. In fact, that's not really
probably
even our
ever
intention.
Be a millionaire.
Yeah.
We're never going to have financial independence right off the bat.
Yeah. Our main intention with the whole candle company is just to have enough to be able to live, to be able to go to the places that we want to go to, eat.
When and where we want to eat.
Well, probably mostly eat at home. Well,
yeah, but when you're on your adventures, you still want to try the local cuisine.
Well, that's true. An occasional taste, yes.
Yeah.
And when we go to New York, get me some Tim Hortons.
I want to make a trip to Wisconsin to try the cheese.
I mean, well, Mom and I are already planning to go to Maine to go get some lobster, so.
That is not me.
We are looking forward to it. But anyway, we digress. To help support what's probably not going to be a very large income, at least at first, if ever, we need to turn down the spending a little bit. Again,
activate ultra hardcore save mode.
Yes, which we have already started doing because we have a lot of work to do on the new property. Obviously, we've already talked about this earlier in the video. Our current house, we have to do something with the expenses with our house. Whether it be to sell it and keep the money as kind of a nest egg kind of situation while we're on the road in case something does happen. It'll be a great starting fund, even just
emergency fund.
Emergency fund, or even starting fund if the business is taking off but not quite there yet. Yeah. We can at least rely on it for a little bit, hopefully not too long. Or renting it, which would give us income
monthly.
But again, we've already went through the pros and cons during the last section about renting it. because it could end up costing money as well. The other thing that we need to start doing probably now is to kind of limit our extra spending habits, whether it be things that we already have, like maybe subscriptions we don't use. We need to start figuring out what we have.
Au revoir services.
Yeah. Get rid of the extra subscriptions that we don't use, or see if we can purge ourselves of them. Not spending money on unnecessary things.
Trying to focus more on buying things of quality, or things that may have the same quality but one's cheaper than the other. Trying to go in that route.
And I mean, if it comes down to the name brand being the better quality item, like this thing lasts 5 years compared to this thing that only lasts like half a year, yeah, obviously.
And the same cost or something.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's a little bit more,
it's
like,
worth it.
Our main point though is brand or no brand, the quality is what's going to matter to us. Is it going to last a while when we do spend money?
Do your research, read the reviews, and make sure that it's going to suit your needs and last as long as you expect it to.
Mm-hmm. But overall, basically, we need to not spend on extra things. Obviously, occasionally we'll splurge.
You only get one life, you might as well live a little.
Yeah, but no, because even when we actually get into the RV itself, we're not going to have a whole lot of room for extra stuff anyway.
Physically.
Yeah. So it's not really going to be much of a point of having extra big stuff.